Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 100 Pounders meeting of Overeaters Anonymous. My name is Rita Q, and today it is the 29th of October 2025, and I'm absolutely delighted and very excited today to have Debbie H. Debbie first came into the rooms in 2007. She left after that and came back in 2020. She is a Londoner through and through, and today she is going to share her experience, strength, and hope. Debbie, take it away, my lovely.
Hello everybody, and thank you, Rita, for asking me to come and share today. My name's Debbie and I'm a compulsive eater, and I just wanted to start my share today with the set aside prayer. So please join me in the set aside prayer. God, today help me set aside everything I think I know about you. Everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about my own recovery, so that I may have an open mind and a new experience with all these things. Please help me see the truth. Amen. Okay. I am a compulsive eater, and I believe that I was born this way. For as long as I can remember, food was my go-to, and I grew up in a household where food was the language of love. My mum, I know, was one of us. She never made it to the rooms, but I bring her to the rooms with me every time I come into a meeting. She's in a picture with me, and that's me bringing my mum with me to the rooms. And sadly, she died as a result of all of the complications of this disease. She had diabetes, and she was overweight. She had, by the end of her life, she died at the age of 70, which is, in today's kind of, when you think about how long people live for today, that's a very young 70. To have died, but when she died, they said that she had like the body of a 90-year-old, and that was because of this disease. And when I first came into program and I learned about the fact that this is a threefold illness and that there is this insanity, I resonated with that straight away, because seeing my mum in the last 20 years of her life, where she was continually in and out of hospital, she was having toes removed, she had the threat of her eyesight going, she couldn't walk properly anymore because of the balance in her, like she didn't have the balance anymore. All of that, even though I was seeing her slowly dying and how much pain she was in with all the other bits that I haven't even mentioned, it wasn't enough to stop me. And I remember at my mum's funeral, which was in 2016, my dad was dying at the time, and he had cancer. And he said to me, "Debbie, promise me that you're not going to do what your mum did." And at the time, I was 22 stone, and I looked at my dad, and I wanted to mean what I was saying when I said, "I promise I'm not going to do that. I promise you, Dad," because I knew this was like his dying wish, right? And I just couldn't stop eating. If Rita, if I was going to just show my pictures, is that all right? Thank you. So I first came into program in 2007, when I had I'd been in an eating disorders hospital, and I'd been an inpatient in an eating disorders hospital, and I came in 2007 as part of my outpatient treatment, and decided that OA wasn't for me. That actually being told that that there were foods that I might have to abstain from it was just like, you're insane. Surely that can't be right. Surely I'll go with the weigh and pay method, which is have a little bit of what you fancy and you'll be all right, kind of thing. And I did that, and I lost 10 stone, and then I put back on 10 stone, and then I did it again. And anyway, those pictures that you can see on the screen, that's me on the left, that's me in 2018. In the middle with the floral top with my little boys, that's me in 2019, and on the far right, that's me in 2020. And then the ones on the bottom, that's me with my youngest son, and that was last year. The one in the middle is me with both my sons, who are now taller than me, and that was this year in August. And then the picture was me on holiday this year. So when I came into program, you can take that off, Rita, if you want to. When I came into program, I was 308 pounds, or 22 stone. That's the last I'd been weighing myself. I don't know how much more I'd got to, because I'd kind of stopped. And I have, since coming into program in 2021, I have released just over £100. And I was going to read, actually. Last night I was working with one of my sponsees, and she's on step 3. So we were reading the agnostics, and when I read it, every time I pick up the big book, every time I'm working with a sponsor, every time I'm working with my sponsor, the big book just speaks to me in a way that nothing else has ever spoken to me. And we got to this section, and something, well, I think it was God, said to me, this is where your share has to start tomorrow. So it's on page 50 of the agnostics. And it says, it's at the bottom, the final paragraph, and it says, "Here are thousands of men and women, worldly indeed. They flatly declare that since they have come to believe in a power greater than themselves, to take a certain attitude towards that power, and to do certain simple things, there has been a revolutionary change in their way of living and thinking. In the face of collapse and despair, in the face of the total failure of their human resources, they found that a new power, peace, happiness, and sense of direction flowed into them. This happened soon after they wholeheartedly met a few simple requirements." Now, I remember when I first came into the program, hearing people saying that they are grateful, that they are a grateful compulsive overeater. And at that point, I was like, how could you ever be grateful for this disease? How could you ever be grateful? And today, my truth is that I am grateful that I am a compulsive eater, because I don't know, I would have found this spiritual way of living my life if I hadn't been. If I just go back very quickly to my childhood, I was brought up in the church, and it was something that I was kind of. My mum and dad went to church. Ironically, they didn't actually go to church on a Sunday morning. They used to send us to church on a Sunday morning. Oh, and I have a feeling I know what they were up to on a Sunday morning. Won't go there. But yeah, so we used to go to church on their behalf. We represented the family. And my experience of church at that point was really, it did not feel like something that was for me. Like, the people that were at my church would say hello to me on a Sunday, and then I'd see them during the week on the street, and they would look the other way. And it was just a really uh, just not my experience today of what faith and what Christianity and what church is all about for me today. But so all of my life, I never had really had a faith. I did things because I was told to do them, and the 12 steps have really brought me to having a faith. And my parents both passed in 2000. My mum died in 2016, and my dad died 5 months later. And after their death, I like at that point in my life, I had yo-yo dieted. I had ballooned to the biggest I've ever been, which was plus 22 stone. And I was at that point like taking rucksacks of food up to bed. Like I'm now a single parent. I was married at the time, but I couldn't wait till my children went to bed, and I was so kind of yeah, it it used to break my heart when I would say that, but today I know that the mum my children have got is a woman in recovery, and is a woman who is able to have compassion for them, patience for them. I can't change how I was when they were little, but the mum that they have today is a very different mum, and I'm proud of myself as a mum today, and that's only because of my relationship with my higher power and this program. That's the only reason that things have changed for me. Um, After my parents died, things kind of went really rapidly downhill. I felt like I was holding my life together, and to the outside world, I have a very demanding job that I absolutely love. I'm very passionate about. I've done it for the last 20 something years. And I thought that I was presenting this image that was people thinking that, I was in control and I knew what I was doing, and I had the husband and we lived in a really lovely area, and my children were like, doing all the wonderful things, music and drama and sports and all of that. And inside, I was dying. I was dying. Um and I had a car accident. I had two car accidents in 2018 where twice people went in behind me, and it caused me to have a slip disc. And in 2019, I had to have a back surgery, and then my back slipped again. My disc slipped again in 2020, and I felt like at that point, God just plucked me out of my life and just said, "This is a mess. This is an absolute mess. It's time to do something about it." And I had this second back surgery, which was an emergency back surgery, because I had developed cauda equina, which is a really serious condition where your discs are sitting on nerves that control all of your kind of bowel and bladder and all of the rest of it, and it's a life-threatening thing. And so I'd had to have this emergency back surgery, and I got taken out of my life. It was lockdown. I got taken 2 hours away to a hospital in North London, and I had the back surgery, and I was on a spinal cord unit for about 4 months, where I was like learning how to walk again. And while I was in that hospital, I remember a friend had said to me about 3 months before that. She's in in AA, and her partner is in OA. And she had said to me that she had found that her partner had found OA and it had changed her life. And at the time, I was furious with her that she could ever even think that I had an issue with food. Like the fact that I was walking around at like a size 32. Um, I don't know what I thought. It's like it's the insanity and the things that we tell ourselves, right? um, that it was normal and I was okay and nobody had noticed. Anyway, and I just remembered when I was lying in that hospital bed in this spinal cord unit, this meeting that she had told me about, and it was a UK meeting, but people come from all over the world, and it's the early bird, and it's like 7 days a week at 7 o'clock in the morning UK time. And I logged on to that meeting from my hospital bed, and I remember I had my phone on my chest because I was like lying down, and I had my camera off, and I just listened, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And it was because of the relief. I just felt this absolute relief that I was in, I was amongst people who just got it. Like, and everyone was saying things that I was like, oh my God, I do that, or I used to do that, or, that's how I feel. Like, that's how angry I get when I can't get my food and I have to be dealing with my children and I want them to just go to bed. All of those things that I felt really ashamed of, people were saying them, and that I've never stopped going to that meeting, and that was 2021. Um, and unless I've been on holiday and not been able to, or had no reception, like I did on the weekend, I've gone to that meeting every single day. Um, and I'm just looking at my time, so that is halfway. So, so basically, I had that back surgery, and I came out of the hospital and wanted to just get a sponsor. I was like, I need to work these steps. I want to get a sponsor. And while I was at home recovering from the back surgery, I worked the steps for the first time. Oh, and I'm crying because I'm grateful. I'm crying because it saved my life. And at that time, while I was recovering from the back surgery and while I was working the steps, I um, they found out that I had a tumour in my pituitary gland, and so within about 2 months of coming home, I then had to go back into hospital to have this tumour from my brain removed, and this program is the only reason that I managed to walk that path, because I at that point I had started doing two-way prayer um, with this incredible group of women who are my divine feminine women, who I still do my two-way prayer with them. Um, and that community and my sponsor and this fellowship helped me to walk through that fear. I was so scared of having that brain surgery because of how the size I was, because of the fact that it was in my brain and what could happen. Like, was I going to come out and be a different person? The fact that could I die on the table? Um, and I work through all of those fears, and the miracle, the miracle, and there are many, many miracles in my life, but the miracle of that was that I went into that operating theatre having written a letter to my children that was me telling them what wonderful human beings they are and how proud I am of them, and being at absolute peace. And I never thought I could ever say this, but being at peace with whatever the outcome was going to be, like knowing that like that God had me, that my higher power had me, and that no matter what the outcome was going to be, that I was held, and that my babies would be held as well. And I can't, like, even as I say that, to know that I have been at a place where I had that complete acceptance is nothing short of a miracle for me. Um, I had that surgery, and God was with me, and that tumor was removed. But it left me with something called Addison's disease, which means that I have, like, I don't produce hormones because my pituitary gland was flat as a pancake, as the surgeon said. And so I have what's called adrenal crises, because my body can't cope when it gets too hot or stressed. Um, and I have to have like emergency kind of injections. And I've been, yeah, hospitalized about 5 times since I've had that diagnosis of Addison's disease. And again, through all of that, I've walked that path with God. Um, I in October 2021, I separated from my husband, um, because I realised in working these steps that I could not live my life uh, in any other way other than being honest, and that our relationship was not honest anymore. Lockdown had taken its toll on both of us, and um, and I had always promised myself, my mum and dad had a really rough marriage. Like, there was violence involved, and it was not a happy place when we were little, you know, a lot of the time. There were lots of happy moments, lots of music, lots of laughter, and there was a lot of uh, not very nice moments. And I promised myself from at the age of, you know, a very young child that I would never do that to my children. And when I could see my husband and I going down that kind of road of just bitterness, and yeah, I knew. And this program helped me to just be honest about that. My sponsor helped me. My sponsor was like, "You sure you want to do this? You've just had major surgery. you, do you want to make major life decisions at this point?" Um, I had a therapist at that time, and she also tried to help me, and I'd work through it with my two-way prayer again. Anyway, and so we separated, and so since 2021 October, I've been a single parent, and last year I got diagnosed with another tumour in my leg, which had been strangling my sciatic nerve. They actually think that I might have this disease called Carney's complex, where you just produce random benign tumours. Thank God they are benign. But each one of these challenges, every time these things happen, and I had to have surgery to have that removed. I had a suspected one in my shoulder about 3 weeks ago, and I've just had the MRI showing that it's not another tumour, thank God. Um, but each of these things have just brought me closer to God. Like, I would never have been able to walk this path without using food. I just wouldn't. Like, I couldn't feel my feelings before this program. I was too scared to let myself feel my feelings. So I just used to eat my way out of everything. Everything. Just bury it down, push it down, push it down. And in this time, like all of the health stuff that I've had going on, and then my divorce, I represented myself in court. I represented myself for my financial hearing just in July, in April, just gone. And again, that was handing it all over. Um, and God just continues to send earth angels. You know, like I don't have any law experience. I feel like I've done a law course now that I've done this thing. But God was sending, like I do outreach, 3 outreach calls a day, and like just randomly while I was going through my divorce and financial settlement, I would do like one of the groups I'm in, there's over 100 people, and I'd just say two by two, please. And each time, like one of the people that I had was a family law solicitor who, and I was like, oh my God. Like, if I ever needed evidence that God is there and walking this path with me and holding my hand along the way, that like it just continues to come. Um, and my mum and dad are like just with me. Like I feel my mum and dad are part of that. Ever since they died, magpies are just with me whenever I'm in a moment of I need reassurance, I need to feel held, I need to feel like I'm not in this on my own. They are there, and they literally, my children think I'm mad because I'm like, did you see the magpie? Did you see? Like just dive bombing my car, you know? Just this continual reassurance. So I'm just looking at the time. My program today, my recovery today is that I have a sponsor. I sponsor, so I have two sponsees. I attend meetings. I attend my early bird meeting every morning, even though it's during getting children ready for school time. I have it on and I'm listening, and every now and then I can kind of share if yeah. I go to two face-to-face meetings. I give service at all of the meetings I attend. I do my every day. I use the OA toolkit, and I do my nightly review, which just helps me to clean, just keep clean, and just like have a restart every morning to just go, okay, where was I selfish? Where am I holding resentments? What was my part in that? Where do I need to make an apology? Um, my reflex has become now that I know instantly that I need to make an amends. If I've been, if I've been trying to be too controlling, if I've spoken out of turn, if I've tried to run the show at my, with my friends or with my kids, especially with my kids. Um, and we have a relationship now where they now make amends to me. So, like my son, who's 15, they're 15 and 11 now, and my 15-year-old will say, he's going through his GCSEs, like big exams in England. He's hormones, just body changes and mood swings, and I'm perimenopausal, so the two of us together are just like, it's, yeah, if I didn't have a program, he'd probably be dead and I would just be insane because my emotions and my hormones are crazy, right? But what I have is the ability to pause, the ability to pray, the ability in everything to say, God, please give me the patience to know this child is struggling right now because of everything that's going on with him. Please help me to be compassionate. Please help me to be loving and kind, and somehow the miracle happens, right? Sometimes it takes a while and I go, uh, but I always come back and I always am able to just acknowledge, okay, I'm sorry, this is where I went wrong here. And he does the same thing now. He'll say to me, I need some time. And then he'll come back to me and he's like, Mum, I'm sorry that I spoke to you like that. The reason is because da 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 da. And I'm like, I can deal with that. We can do that. And that is like, what a blessing. He's a 15-year-old boy who is emotionally intelligent and articulate, able to articulate his feelings. And yeah, and that is a blessing. My sponsor, the sponsor I have today, um, has re- I had I've had a couple of sponsors in my time in OA, and I had two big relapses. My last one was about 18 months ago, and um, I've been abstinent ever since that relapse because I think that I went truly to the gates of hell in that last relapse. And when I kept to cut, as I was coming out of that relapse, I had a sponsor that was very, very kind of rigid and very strict, and I needed that. Um, and then it worked until it didn't work for me anymore. And my sponsor today has brought me to love. My sponsor today has brought me to a place of knowing that this all starts with love. It starts with love from my higher power to me. And then knowing that I am so loved by my higher power enables me to then say, then I need to look after me. I need to love me. Like all of the things before where I was like, I need to do this because if I don't, I'm going to die of diabetes, or if I don't, I'm not going to have good relationships. Or if I don't, all of those things uh, were like a stick that I used to have. And I don't have that now. I have like, my recovery today feels like a warm blanket, right? It feels like something that is nurturing and loving and kind, kind. And that's what's working for me today. That's what's working. Like if I have food thoughts, my second thought is that kind to you? Is that going to help you? Is that going to change how you're feeling right now? Um, yeah. So it feels to me today that love has always been the answer, and I know that that is my truth today. Um, and that's like where everything comes from, that place of love, and because of it, i'm i'm a better mum than I've ever been. I'm in a position of like a managerial position in my work, and I'm a better leader because of it. I'm able to say I got it wrong, or I don't know. Whereas before recovery, oh my God, I used to spend so much time. If I made a mistake, all my energy went into how can I make it so no one realizes I've made this mistake? Just shameful. Just like it was awful because I wanted the respect. I wanted people to think I was invincible and I could do everything. Today, I can say, I don't know the answers. And today, I know to my core that I am powerless. I'm powerless over food. I'm powerless over my recovery. I am powerless over my health. And I feel like all these health challenges are getting me to this place of really understanding that, because with each one that comes, there's still that part of me that's like, I can I can sort this out. I can sort and each time it's like, no, you have absolutely no control over this. Um, so yeah, so today I am a grateful compulsive overeater. I'm so grateful to have been able to come and speak with you today. It's half term in England, so I get to be around at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and not at work. And thank you all for holding space and for listening. And if you're new, just keep coming back. If none of what I've said resonates for you, there will be someone here that you will hear, and something will click for you. Something will actually go, yeah, you're speaking my story. That's my time. And so I'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much. What a beautiful message of depth and weight. And I'm just going to read out something from the big book after your little talk, and it's the acceptance prayer on page 417. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact in my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism or compulsive overeating, I could not stay sober. Until I accept my life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes.